about one of the most important and most confusing topic, that is non-finite verb. Whenever we talk about a sentence, the first and foremost thing required in a sentence is presence of a verb. A verb that we identify as doing word or an action word. Not only this, it also expresses the state of being or showing possessions. We have already studied number of types of verb with its definition and examples. But have you ever wondered a verb not performing the function of a verb? Means the verb does not show any action. Instead, it states the name of something or the quality of something. That is all the difference that we are going to study today in our topic non-finite verb. So first of all, let's classify all the verbs that we have studied into finite and non-finite. Why does it behave in that particular manner? So beginning with, what is a verb? Verb is a doing word or an action word. All the types of verb that we have studied till now can be grouped under as main verbs or auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are also called as helping verbs. What are they called as? Helping verbs. Main verbs are those verbs which expresses action directly. Whereas helping verbs or auxiliary verbs are those verbs that helps the main verb to show the tense and the time of an action. The base verbs or the main verbs can be grouped under as finite verb and non-finite verb. When we talk about non-finite verb, it comes under main verb. Your main verb can be divided as finite verb and non-finite verb. Now what is a finite verb? Finite verb is a word that is limited by number, person and tense. What do we mean by limited by number, person or tense? Means these verbs will change according to the subject. The number of the subject, the person of the subject, as well as the time of an action. Whereas a non-finite verb is not limited by number, person or tense. Means the verb will not behave according to the number and person of the subject or the tense of the verb. It is independent of number, person and tense. How is it? Let's see. Let's understand the difference between the finite verb and the non-finite verb with the help of several examples. Here are some examples that explains the finite verb and here are some examples that explains the non-finite verb. Actually, the examples given for non-finite also contains finite verb. One thing to be kept in mind is, till now whatever we were talking about verbs or whatever word we call as verb are actually your finite verbs. Whenever we call any word a verb, means those verbs are your finite verbs. If we have to talk about non-finite verb, it has to be spoken of specifically as non-finite verb. So first let's understand what are finite verbs. I like swimming. It has a verb like they are playing in the park. Are playing is your verb. Visits. She visits the museum regularly. Again visits is the verb. He will visit me tomorrow. A verb. You visited the market yesterday. Verb. All the verbs that I have underlined here are your finite verbs. Why? What are finite verbs? A verb that is limited by number, person and tense. So let's see how the verb is limited by number, person and tense, or how it behaves according to the subject. The first sentence, I like swimming. We all know I is a first person singular subject which always takes the plural verb. So I have the verb which is plural for first person singular subject. Then I have they are playing in the park. They is a third person plural subject. We all know the rules: singular subject, singular verb, plural subject, plural verb. Means singular subject will take singular verb and plural subject will take plural verb. So they is a plural verb, third person plural verb, and hence your verb is plural. Then coming to the third example, she visits the museum regularly. Visits. She is third person singular subject. So your verb is singular. Singular subject, singular verb. Till now we have spoken about the verbs that is behaving according to the number of the subject. Like plural subject, plural verb, singular subject, singular verb. And we have an exception for the first person who takes plural verbs. This is all about your verb behaving according to the singular and plural subject. Means verbs are changing according to the number and person of the subject. Now let's see how it changes or behaves according to the tense. In the first, second and third example, all the verbs are in present tense. But if I change the tense, you will see the same verb. I have taken the same verb in all the three tenses. You can see here. She visits the museum regularly. This is your simple present tense. Verb in simple present tense. She visits the museum regularly. Same way we have, he will visit me tomorrow. Now you can see the verb has changed because the time has changed. This verb talks about simple future tense. Whereas you visited the market yesterday, this talks about simple past tense. So you can see the same verb is changing according to the time of an action. That is, if the work is done in present time, the verb form is different. If the work is done in past time, the verb form is different. And same way, if the work is done in the future time, the verb form is different. But when we talk about non-finite verbs, you will see the verbs are not affected by the subject. Neither by the number and person of the subject, nor the time of an action, that is tense. Let's see how. I like swimming. She is swimming in the pool. They saw her swimming at noon. He goes for swimming every day, and swimming is a good exercise. If I try to pick out all the verbs, my verbs are like, is, saw, goes, and again is. So here we can see the underlined verbs change according to the subject. First person, plural verb. Third person, singular subject, singular verb. He, again, time change to past tense. They go, plural subject, plural verb. Swimming is a good exercise, again, singular subject, singular verb. So all the verbs that is underlined are your finite verbs because they change according to the subject and time. But if I look at the word, swimming, you can see the word swimming, though a verb, is not affected by any tense or any number or person of subject. They are same. Whether it's first person, second person, third person, singular, plural, present, past or future, whatever is the time of an action or number and person of the tense, subject, the word is not changing. And we all know swimming is a verb. The word swim is a verb. So in these type of examples, you can see the verbs are not behaving like verbs. It's not stating any action. Instead, is performing different function, and that is a function of a noun or an adjective. Surprised? Yes. A verb not acting as a verb, instead acting as a noun or an adjective. So let's see how all these verbs behave differently from the function of the verb. To know this, we should know the different types of non-finite verbs. The different types of non-finite verbs are gerund, participle and infinitive. That is, there are three types of non-finite verbs. Gerund, a verb acting as a noun. Participle, a verb acting as an adjective. And infinitive. These infinitives can behave as a noun or an adjective depending on the place where it is placed. So let's see what are gerund, participle and infinitive. Gerund is a verb. Remember, we are studying non-finite verb and all the types are verbs. Gerund is a verb, participle is a verb, as well as infinitive is also a verb. So what is gerund? Gerund is a verb that behaves as nouns. What are nouns? Nouns are naming words. Names of person, place, animal or thing. So these gerunds will also tell you the names. Though the origin of the word is a verb, see, it's a verb. Though the origin of the word is a verb, the function of the word is a noun and not a verb. One thing should be very clear in your mind, that none of the non-finite verbs act as a verb. A verb that functions or changes according to the subject and time are finite verbs. Non-finite verbs will not change according to the number and person of the subject or the time of an action. So gerund is a verb that act as a noun. Whenever you look at the gerund or you find gerund in a sentence, they are verb first form plus ing. That is base form plus ing, or you can say they are the ing forms of the verb or the present participle form of the verbs. There are four forms of the verb: verb first form, verb second form, verb third form and verb fourth form. Of which the first form is your simple present tense acting as base verb or main verb. Whereas verb second form is your simple past tense used to express simple past tense of the action. Then verb third form is your past participle that may behave as a verb also and a non-finite verb also. And last is your present participle, which is the verb first form plus ing form of the verbs. I have the base verb plus ing attached to it, and that is your present participle. So gerund will have ing forms of verb. The same ing forms of verbs are seen in participle also. Now what are participles? Participles are verbs that act as an adjective. It performs the function of an adjective in a sentence. Look at the examples. Swimming is a good exercise and I saw her swimming in the pool. You can see both are ing, but one of them belong to gerund and the other belong to participle. Let's see how. Swimming is a good exercise. In the first sentence, swimming is the name of an exercise. Noun means name. So what is a good exercise? Swimming. What is a good exercise? Swimming. Swimming is a good exercise. So since swimming is the name of an exercise, this swimming is gerund. Whereas if I say, I saw her swimming in the pool. Who was swimming in the pool? This lady or this girl. Who was swimming in the pool? This girl. Here also you can see ing forms are there and It's qualifying the object. So it's acting as an object complement describing her action. We call it as participle. Swimming is describing the action. Swimming is not performing the action. Remember, the word swimming is not performing an action. It is describing an action performed by someone. So it is telling about the quality of the object. Telling the quality of the object, and hence this is participle. So you can see both ends in ing, but depending on the function they perform, they are either gerund or participle. Same way we have infinitive. Infinitive is a verb, base form of the verb with to attached to it. Two forms of verb. We call it as two forms of verb. Example, she likes to eat a lot. So here to eat is an infinitive, a verb functioning as she likes to eat a lot. She likes what? To eat. She likes what? To eat. Is this to eat describing anything? No. It is present as the object of the verb. So again performing the function of a noun, and hence this is acting as noun here. But since I have to attach to it, the type is to infinitive. The type is to infinitive. I hope the difference and the definition with the example is clear for non-finite verb. This is all for today's class. In the next video, we will study about gerund, participle and infinitive in detail. Till then, read the topic, practice the topic, go through the topic again and again, and try to solve some examples with the explanation given. That's all for today. Goodbye.